This is the 308th Taiku in the Babylonian Talmud, and it is the only Taiku that is in the tractate Meilah. Meilah has only one Taiku in it. There are, as I understand it, according to this book that Rabbi Pessin wrote called Taiku, he lists all the amount of Taikus in each tractate. And Meilah has only one Taiku, and the tractate of Ta'anit has only one, and the tractate of Rosh Hashanah has only one. They're the only tractates, and it forms a really neat acronym of Tamar. Tamar is Ta'anit, Meilah, and Rosh Hashanah. Three Masechtas that only have one Taiku in them. And I'm wondering, because I like acronyms and gematrias and all that kind of coding stuff, and I'm wondering if there's a connection, something in common between these tractates and the fact that they only have one Taiku, and Tamar, the story of Tamar and Judah. There's also Tamar, King David's daughter. But let's see. Who knows? At least I brought up the question, and who knows? Maybe it will be answered someday. But here it is. According to the book, it's the 308th Taiku, unresolved, unanswered question. And it's in Meilah, tractate Meilah 3b, with the words Boy Rav Elazar. Boy Rav Elazar, in brackets it says, Oy las b'maz yochi, shechiz leviv salo, mahu sheyerd. The Gemara continues. In this regard, Rabbi Elazar asks, in the case of a burnt offering consecrated to be sacrificed on a personal altar that one brought into the temple courtyard, and it was rendered unfit for sacrifice. For example, it was slaughtered in the south rather than its proper place in the north. If its limbs ascended the altar to be sacrificed, what is the halakha as to whether they should descend? If you brought it up, do you bring it down? Although the animal was disqualified due to the change in location, had it been slaughtered in the south on a personal altar, it would not have been disqualified. The Gemara concludes from the fact that Rabbi Elazar asked this question only with regard to this one case. One can conclude that in the other case, where the burnt offering was consecrated for sacrifice in the temple, the halakha of the limbs that ascended the altar is obvious to him. He either holds that the halakha is that they are not sacrificed in accordance with the opinion of Rabbah, or he maintains that they are sacrificed in accordance with the opinion of Rav Yosef. The Gemara rejects this inference, as it is possible that Rabbi Elazar was actually uncertain with regard to that case as well, but he raises one dilemma as a result of the other. In other words, Rabbi Elazar was asking two questions, one predicated on the other, and the second question is valid regardless of whether he holds in accordance with the opinion of Rabbah or of Yosef. The Gemara elaborates, even if Rabbi Elazar holds, in accordance with the opinion of Rabbah, that in a regular case the limbs are removed from the altar, one can claim that Rabbah says that if the limbs ascend the altar, they shall descend only there, meaning if the burnt offering was consecrated for sacrifice in the temple. In that case, the owner consecrated the offering with the intention of sacrificing it within the partition of the courtyard, where slaughtering is performed properly in the north. Consequently, if it was slaughtered in the south, that renders the offering entirely disqualified, and therefore, even if it descended the altar, it must descend. But in a case where he consecrated the offering in order to sacrifice it improperly on a personal altar, slaughtering it in itself does not render the offering entirely disqualified, and therefore if it ascends the altar, it does not descend. Oy dilma filo Rav Yosef tamarima salit lo tered mechitza ketikna kalta shelo ketikna lo kalta Taiku. Or perhaps the opposite is the case, even according to the opinion of Rav Yosef, who said that if it ascends the altar, it shall not descend. That halacha applies only in a case where the owner consecrated the offering in order to sacrifice it within the partition of the courtyard, in which case it was consecrated properly. In such an instance, the offering is admitted by the partitions of the courtyard, and therefore, even in a case where it was disqualified, if it ascended the altar, it does not descend. By contrast, in a case where he consecrated it in order to sacrifice it improperly on a personal altar, the offering is not admitted at all by the partitions of the courtyard, which means that even if it ascends the altar, it must descend. The Gemara concludes that dilemma shall stand unresolved, Taiku, until the coming of the Messiah, the son of David and the son of Joseph, may be soon in our day.